a little coffee for our week to think about and chew on, and really have some ideas that percolate and we hold on to. And so I'm thrilled that a good friend of mine, Ben Falik, is sharing with us this morning. And Ben and I go way back. As a matter of fact, Ben, this will sound awkward, but you were in my dreams last night. And I was introducing you in Monday Morning Musings in my dream. And I was able to share so much and go on for so long that it was time. And we were told, up, your 15 minutes of Monday Morning Musings is over, and you never got to speak. So I'm going to keep it short. But Ben and I go.
It was great talking to you. Nice,
That's right. Sorry, this was the nightmare part.
It's okay.
Ben and I go back
no pants. Same real life.
He continues to make me laugh. Ben, as we've been together since 1997, I think. We were first brought together when he was in high school and was going on teen mission. And we were learning together then. And from that into his college years at Columbia, when he started doing great stuff with Summer in the City and creating an awesome organization for teens in Detroit, to his work with Repair the World as director there, starting the organization in Detroit and leading it, to what he's doing now with New ? Detroit. I don't know if you say the question mark or not, but
the inflection is hard. It's sort of you had to visualize like the New Detroit.
A digital publication. A digital publication that has gone live on last Friday. And so I thought perfect timing for Ben to talk about New Detroit and the work he's doing and why this is so important right now. So first of all, welcome, Ben.
It's good to be here. Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Excellent. Excellent. So tell us about New Detroit.
Sure. So it is new NEW, and you'll see we're still even figuring out how to describe it as we launch it and build it and continue to calibrate. And I think we will, even as it goes forward. So it is digital. It is a platform or a magazine, arguably, for diverse and dynamic writing, primarily, that is about and relevant to, broadly, Jewish Detroit. So a variety that we haven't even thought of what are the outer, contours of different subject matter. I'd say even more importantly, a diversity of different voices, different walks of life that we can showcase, curate, and present to really reflect the how in part interesting this community is. Lots of stories, lots of things going on. I think even more so just how interested, right? How engaged folks are, and I think how much a pent up desire to engage and learn and kibitz after being on Zoom and cloistered and separated for a year and change.
There's so much digitally out there now. I mean, I get dozens upon dozens of emails from daily magazines that are only online, and sifting through them is always a challenge. There's always more I want to read I don't get to. What makes this unique? Why am I going to read this? And I am. Don't worry.
Yeah. So the three-legged stool of just how people will hopefully encounter this, right? The website, new-detroit.com. Otherwise, nude is sort of the operative part of that without the hyphen. So no nudes. This is family-friendly stuff. The site is pretty straightforward, but all the content lives there, and there's no paywall or limit on articles that you can read. And then would encourage people to sign up for the weekly newsletter, which is sort of the magazine version of it. What's new this week, and pulling together. So we had, a few different angles on Passover and a few different Well, different takes, different subject matter, and then certainly it's social media friendly in terms of sharing content. I think the one way to understand it is like it has that, you know, democratic, accessible value of social media, but without all the noise and clutter and all caps keyboard pounding that you get sometimes on Facebook and Twitter. So it's still at that kind of open space, like a good chuppah, you know, very much open on the sides, but sturdy and calm, where people can compose their thoughts and share them for folks like you who I'd say want a, you know, a nuanced, thoughtful, you know, adult, but, you know, adult in the adult
depth
sense of the, thank you, depth sense, without having to go to the Atlantic, Ocean, or magazine, or the New York Times or Washington Post for something like that. Stuff that feels really, you know,
right,
really
like
either specifically about local issues, or that's local voices that are familiar, you might not always agree with, but is kind of coming from this, you know, this community or this vantage point.
I always like, and the essays right now say, you know, this is a 2-minute read, this is a 4-minute read, it's a one, you know, like, because the Atlantic, I feel like it should say this is an hour and 45-minute
Right.
read, right? It's like, yeah, because I have time for that. As eloquent and good of an essay it may be there, it's really a novel or novella, I guess I could say.
I'm a slow reader. I think the minutes there, I find them a little intimidating. So I'd say take your time. It might be, you know, we have a great piece going this week from Erica Bachneck that we're just, oh, there's the dog, working on, that is really rich in detail, and it's probably about 1,000 words. And I put the draft on the website. It said 4-minute read. It probably is more, for me, it's more like a 8 or 10-minute read, because you know, you can skim the stuff, but it really, I think, rewards engaging with it, you know, and thinking about, you know, bringing your own experiences to bear, whether it's about Passover or the craziness of, you know, getting a vaccine down where you would otherwise be going to the auto show, that kind of thing. Let me see if I can wrangle the dog here. You go ahead, Mike. What do you think about that?
I appreciate that. You know, he's only 110 pounds.
Yeah.
So
he can, I think this is our best bet. He'll keep us company here.
That's good. That's good. So I like when the eyes that you use to describe, you know, the online magazine of independent, inclusive, interactive, and iterative. But I also appreciate the fact that in asking for writers, you're asking for I statements too, that they're personal reflections, personal ideas, personal interpretations of things too, rather than me saying, well, you know, Judaism teaches we must do X or something like that too. I definitely appreciate that, and seeing different perspectives that way.
Well, I will, of course, leave it to the rabbi to like do that full, you know, connection, because I'll just say yes, of the eyes, the I adjectives, and then the I pronouns. Ben had not actually thought of, like, oh right, that the pronoun I also starts with the letter I, which gives me 5 I's, which I think is better than 4. It's like odd numbers kind of have a better marketing value. So I will update the website to.
I'm also affirmed by the fact that you say you're a slow reader, because you're a very bright individual, very intelligent, you know, not just because of your degrees from Columbia and University of Michigan, but also your vocabulary always is witty, impresses me, and entertains me greatly. But the fact that you can admit that, yeah, you're a slower reader too, because I think sometimes reading can be really intimidating for people, and we can be overwhelmed by that, but it shouldn't matter. So I that little side comment of encouragement I appreciate too. So thank you for being honest, exposing yourself in that way.
One of the, I'd say, like, of the, if we had like a Oprah vision board of this, which maybe we should, or we sort of do, just not on a piece of poster board, is the Golda Meir quote, which I'll mess up at least a little, which is, you don't have to be modest, you're not that great, right? It's like, I feel like that for New Detroit, it's like, let's, we can quell, we can point to our accomplishments and bring our full selves to this. And like, it's not bragging. It's really just about our authentic voices, which don't always sing in perfect harmony, but when there's a space for them, it doesn't have the cacophony that you might be subjected to elsewhere.
So I'm thinking back, 10 years ago, sitting with you and talking about social action, social justice in Detroit, and talking about, the idea of creating projects that were driven by the Detroit community, not by what we think is best for Detroit and what we see. And even working with my daughter, Ellie, and her finding friends in Detroit and working on projects together rather than Ellie coming in and determining certain things. Let's big picture, your hopes. I mean, you're so ingrained in what's going on in Detroit. I've always been passionate about that. It's such a priority for you. I've done such good work over these years, over really 2 decades now. What's your hope? I mean, where do you see? And then I'm gonna come back to the magazine after you answer that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the city, it still, occupies a big part of my psyche. And even though I've spent, relatively little time there in the last year, because I've been hunkered down, I'd say this Bitmoji captures my comings and goings pretty well. Upstairs, downstairs, laundry, vacuum, dog. I've been thinking about it in the context of New Detroit, because that's become sort of a lens for a lot of stuff. Of like the teens in Detroit as a time that, it's always a little risky just to bucket things by decade. But if you think about the 2008, 9, 10 with the mayoral scandal and the housing market crash and foreclosure crisis, and then the auto bailouts, bankruptcies, as the start of that next decade through up to the pandemic, essentially, and sort of what transpired over that decade with the development in downtown and midtown, and a lot of the changing dynamics in some neighborhoods, and then so much inertia and marginalization, or that centrifugal force that keeps people and communities at the margins. So just the complexity that was already there, but increasing complexity of the city. I think I'm very curious what this decade has in store. And I don't know. Certainly, if you ask me for a word, if not 3 words or 5 words that start with the same letter, I would say equity. Right? Really, this decade is a question of equity in terms of that sort of deeper next level equality that really accounts for the different challenges and different circumstances facing people, and equity in the ownership sense of the term, of like Detroiters who have been, who have been renters or who have been disenfranchised or who have been subjected to the mercies of the lower rungs of the economy, having equity in what's going on now and in the future in the city. So it's exciting and uncertain times, certainly.
That's a powerful message, though, and the importance of it. I mean, I think Detroit is a sort of a mirror of our country too, right? And what we need to accomplish. We've lost our guest. I'll keep talking. He may come back. Wait, until it goes back and forth.
I was
That's
listening.
awesome.
No, this is totally. He sleeps, 19 hours a day, but we got him. We got him here. Yes, it's. Sorry, didn't mean to diminish your attempt to synthesize
I've been trying to rein you in for
for 2
decades.
You should know better by now.
I've learned. So in the context of that, do you see a social action agenda as a part of, or social justice piece to New Detroit?
I mean, definitely in the sense of ultimately, there's nobody better to tell his or her or their own story, and there's then the person themselves, himself, herself, with their preferred pronouns, obviously. So I think that empowering people and rather than trying to tell their story for them, right? Like we've tried to do, programmatically, but now with this space, having those voices, those I statements, it certainly fits into the same philosophy of, helping people to develop the tools and bring all the assets that they already have, but really harness them for their benefit and for the benefit of their community.
Excellent. I also appreciate the fact, because I was thinking, wow, what a great opportunity. You're going live on Friday. We're going to do this. I want to have big advertising, Shir Shalom, sponsors, this, blah, 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 in New Detroit. And you said, no, there's no advertising. And it's not going to be a platform for advertising. It's really singular membership based, in a sense. Very simple way to do it, but it's also free as well. Let's tell why, in your mind, no advertising.
Sure, if the dog will permit me a minute. The nature of digital media, right? Or there is that you can do it and you see it. It's rare to be on a website without seeing especially if there's content, seeing an ad that either pops up or sort of scrolls along with you. And our feeling with this, and I'm one of 4 co-founders who are also writing as columnists, along with lots and lots of different writers, is that there's capital here, but really it's social capital and human and intellectual capital that just in the current media landscape does not really translate to financial capital, to dollars and ad revenue. I think that's why you see such sort of uneven options in terms of digital and print media locally and nationally, is that that right now, as sort of a business model, it's sort of out of sync. So, but at the point where you take the transactional, dollars and cents with a C, it starts to make sense with an S or something, right? That there's all of this wealth of ideas and perspectives and people on the readership end or the audience end that want to engage with that. So it's not free. to produce it, and there is an option for people who want to be members, sort of public radio style, and support it for $5 a month. But the real value is in that, or the currency is in a space where those ideas can breathe and have space to ripple out a little bit, and for folks to respond. So it's an experiment. It's a good reminder that the internet is still relatively new, and we can have the low barriers to entry without having the Trojan horse of vitriol and bad behavior that crashes the gate. So hopefully our writers and readers and subscribers and members will prove me right.
Well, you've got a stellar team that started this with you and Mark and Ellen, of course, and Alicia, who I don't know, but obviously part of that group that is respected and honored, and will be producing really quality things that are a part of what we want to read and what we want to see as a part of Detroit. And I think that's the best thing. It's like, let's envision the best of what Jewish Detroit is, of who we are and what we want to share and respect in each other, and the diversity of that, and how we can disagree with each other honorably, respectfully, and as Rabbi Daniel spoke about on Rosh Hashanah, the idea of curiosity as opposed to judgment, right? And seeing differences from a point of curiosity and learning, and using that to grow together. So thank you for creating a platform for us to continue doing that. I look forward to you and me circling back in person in a few months and 6 months, and seeing how it's blossomed, how far it's going, and in a year from now and many years from now, and seeing what you're engaged in. So I know it's been a little challenging with that mammoth of an animal behind you. I might recommend more petite dogs during our next conversation, but they can be yappy as well. So,
but to make up for it, he sheds excessively. So
it's a win-win.
Yeah,
no doubt. No doubt. Well, listen, I hope you have a good week of Pesach. I hope all those are with us this morning. Have a good week of Passover, celebrating our freedom, sunshine, the springtime. Remember all those names of the holiday, reminding us the blessings that are a part of our world as well. Freedom right there, right?
There you go.
So good stuff. And we wish you the best. So thank you, Ben, for being a part of Monday Morning Musings today.
Thank you.
Sharing with us.
And everyone can look forward to seeing your writing sooner than later.
I'll be happy to be writing. I've created something as well for New Detroit that will be going live soon. So thank you.